Okay, guys, we're here with our offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, Bill Musgrave. If you have a question for Coach Musgrave, please put it in the chat and I'll call on you. Go ahead and start with Jeff Ferrato from SI.
Yeah, good morning, Bill. A couple questions. One is, can you just talk about what you're seeing from Nico Remigio in camp so far? He finished last season strong, and I understand he's also possibly going to be playing both in the slot and wide.
Yeah, we're going to move him around. He had a super day yesterday. I can think offhand 2 or 3 touchdowns in our red area period where he running impeccable routes, bursting after he catches it. Looks, we're all pretty fresh right now after a number of months off, but he's fresh and very explosive with the ball in his hands. So he's had a good day each and every day that we've been out there.
And is his ability to play in either of those spots just a function of your offense or what?
Well, no, he's sharp. He knows the whole concept. He just doesn't know the split end or the flanker or the slot. We can plug and play him in different areas so we can keep the defense a little bit off balance.
And then I'd like to ask you also about the walk-on freshman running back, Ashton Stratic. He's got kind of eye-popping high school stats. They don't necessarily automatically translate. I'm sure you like them to, but how do you envision potentially using him this year? Are there any opportunities for him to play right away, or where is he at in it's pretty early, but where is he at in development?
Well, I think there's a chance that he would get on the field this year. I think everyone's going to have to pull their weight, especially with the season as we're anticipating. Everyone's going to have a role and going to need to do their part when they're called upon. And Ashton will be one of those guys. He's got amazing quickness. So far, he's looked like he can catch the ball adequately. He's young. He hasn't been here, of course, for spring ball. We had no camp, no in-person meetings, until just recently. So he's doing a nice job, but he definitely has a lot of juice.
Is he still kind of a kid, or is he physically mature, or where does he stand in that regard?
No, he looks pretty sturdy. Yeah, I think he'll do really well when we give him an opportunity in one of these games.
And he's got some speed.
A lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Trace Travers from Rivals.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to talk about the offensive line a little bit. You have a guy who you didn't have in spring in Will Craig, who has taken some reps there. What does the left tackle position look like so far in camp, and how has Will Craig done?
Well, these first couple of questions, we're talking about a couple of my favorites, from Ashton, our freshman walk-on running back, to Will Craig. Will couldn't do anything there in March, trying to get around on his injured foot, having absolutely no fun back there in March for practices 1 through 4, and worked hard at rehab, got healthy, and now he's really anchoring the left tackle position, just doing an outstanding job. Couldn't be more pleased with what Will's done in the first 6 days out here.
What stands out about his skill set at the position?
Well, he's so athletic. He knows what to do. Offensive line is about the who and the how. You got to know who to block. Then you got to have the capability and know how to block him with the correct technique. So he's on top of his position and he's on top of his craft right now, doing a nice job and, getting better like all of us each and every day because we're just embarking on this journey.
Do you feel like you have a steady first group there on the offensive line, or is it more guys are starting to compete and rotate in?
There's competition. We've got good depth there. We've got good depth with Val. Our right side is intact, as you can imagine, with McCade and Jake. Our center is an amazing player. And then on the left side, we've got good depth. We've got Will, of course, and then we've got Sindo, and Val can play some guards. So it's great to have some guys with versatility.
So, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Rusty Simmons from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Coach, this is probably obvious, but along with that versatility that you have on the line, you've got a lot of experience. What does that mean to you guys, and what does that allow you to do to have that experience up front?
It's really invaluable. These guys have been trained really well, by Will Heck and Addison Ooms and Angus McClure, and even going back to Steve Greatwood, in previous years. The experience that they've gained from their coaches is invaluable. So they're well versed in football, whether we're calling a play this or that from one scheme to another. They're on top of it. So thank goodness, because we've got limited preparation, but got confidence in those guys being ready to go November 7th.
I was going to ask you in general about this first week as well. You guys are about a week in now. How would you kind of judge the offense as a whole right now?
Well, we're still, we're growing. We've barely passed the halfway point in our installation process. So we're a little bit more than 50% in. So we're taking 2, 3, 4 days at a time just to talk about concepts, walk through them, simulate them, practice them against the defense, and then come back and do it again, see if we can replicate the good things we've done. So we're working at a methodical pace, so we can have a good foundation for once we get later in the month and then embark on the season in November.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Jasper Sundin from the Daily Cow.
Hey, Coach, I think I missed your last interview, so forgive me if I'm making you repeat things, but you have a couple of talented tight ends on that roster. Has anyone stuck out to you throughout this first week?
Well, they've been doing a nice job. Both Jake and Colin, are upperclassmen type guys. They're doing a nice job. We've got a young guy in Jake Muller. Nick Alphin's doing a nice job. Isaiah Moharo. A lot of good depth there. So those guys are really battling when it comes to the run game, because we're going to run it. And we need our tight ends to bring that physical nature. And then in the pass game, they do a nice job versus both man and zone. So the tight ends are crucial, as we've talked about, to every offense at every level of football. So we want that position to be a strength of ours.
And then you guys have been in practice now for a week. Has anything surprised you or stuck out to you? I know you're back in college football, but I imagine a lot of things are similar, but this is also a pandemic. That things I imagine are a little different. Has anything stuck out?
I don't think so. I think we've really enjoyed the days. We've really enjoyed this opportunity. We're thankful and blessed that so many people have done so many things to allow us to get out on the field. The safety measures are amazing, and they're being executed in a sound manner. So as we've talked about, any coach at any level, at any sport, our number one responsibility is the safety and health of our players, both on the field and off. And so that's our priority each and every day. So we're thankful when we do get out there and have a blast, working on football.
Okay, Jasper, anything else for Coach?
Nope.
Hey, Jim McGill with Bear Insider.
Hey, Coach, you brought in a talented group of 5 freshman scholarship guys and a talented walk-on too. Can you talk a little bit about what that group brings, and if you expect much of a contribution from a few of them this season? We definitely do, especially with everybody having to have a role. Everyone's got to be ready to play. The talented walk-on you're talking about, Grant Daly from De La Salle, is doing a super job, catching a ton of balls in 7-on-7 when we have our developmental practice. We split the squad, so not everybody practices at one time. So everybody's getting a lot of good turns. The young guys are getting good opportunities, not just to stand in the back 15 yards from the drill and watch, but they're getting to participate, play, learn, have their triumphs, stub their toe and learn. And then the other guys you mentioned, from Justin Baker to Jeremiah Hunter to Tommy Christakos, Mason Mangum's doing a nice job. And then yesterday, Aiden Lee had a terrific day, caught a couple touchdowns, caught a go route from Devon Modster. So all 5 of those freshmen plus Grant are making contributions already. And do you expect to have Gentle available to play this season, or is that up in the air still? I think that's up in the air. We see Gentle each and every day, and he's working through his rehab. He's a great presence to have. He helps the other O-linemen, when he can't be out there on the field, and he's just a great teammate. So we're love Gentle to death. So it's always fun and great always to be around him and be associated with him on a day-to-day basis. Thanks.
Okay, we'll move on to Jeff Ferrata.
Yeah, Bill, getting back to the O-line for a second, can you talk in some detail about what you're seeing from Jake Curhan, what you saw in the spring when you got up to see him up close for the first time, and, what his strengths are, and having come from the NFL, what his potential is to play at the next level?
Yeah, I think Jake's got a bright future, playing football for a living, if that's what he would like to do. He's real physical, smart. I love the way he finishes. This is a guy that plays to the whistle and beyond. So sets a great example for our whole team, because we want to be an offense that really is an irritant to the defense. We want to block them to the whistle. We want to finish with a violent shove. We want those guys to be mad at the blockers so they don't take out their aggression on the ball carriers. And Jake does a good job with that. He's been trained very well over the years, and he continues to work at it every day to get better.
Is his strength as a pass blocker or run blocker, or you think he's adept at both of those?
I think he's adept at both. He does a nice job in pass protection. He really does. He knows how to set. He knows how to block the counter moves from the defensive end. So I'd say both areas he really excels.
Thanks.
Okay, Jim McGill from Bear Insider.
Coach, I also wanted to ask you about the redshirt freshman offensive lineman that didn't get a chance to play last year, particularly Brian and Braden.
Say that again, Jim. My
I
phone
wanted to
may
ask you
be.
about the redshirt freshman lineman that didn't play last year, Brian Driscoll and Braden Rome. What kind of progress are they making?
Yeah, those guys are rolling with the twos right now. They're getting some reps with the ones. Braden Rome got a lot of reps with the ones back in the spring when Will Craig was hurt. So Braden was running at left tackle then and doing a nice job. So he's still playing left tackle. And Brian Driscoll's doing a nice job at center. Really good with the calls. Love his leadership, identifying which linebacker we're working to, and good on combination blocks. So those guys are getting a lot of plays now. We're counting on them having to play like we talked about in such a unique season that we're anticipating.
And Ben Coleman's another one I meant to ask you about.
Yeah, love Ben. Ben is playing both guard spots, and Ben is sharp, powerful. When he's in the game, the line of scrimmage moves in the correct direction. So looking for Ben to play a lot of football.
And last, Eric Nisich made the transition from defensive line to offensive line. I know they're a little thin on the defensive side. Is there talk about moving him back and forth, or do you think he'll stick on offense?
I think there's a chance of that. Eric Nisich is a guy, as you've seen, who can really bend. He can get low and get his pad level down. He's flexible. He's dynamic. So we're glad to have him on offense. But Andrew Browning needs him. I'm sure we'll make him available. But we got some ideas for Eric. He's going to do some great jobs for us, both on the line. And then if we need a little bit more bulk, either at a fullback spot or a tight end spot, he's a good candidate because he is explosive and he can bend.
Thanks.
Okay, we have time if anybody give you about another 10 seconds here. If anybody else has one, put it in the chat.
Good. Thanks. You guys can sense I'm fired up. We've had a good few days and looking forward to today and through the weekend. Go
Great.
Bears.
Bill.
Thanks a lot, Bill.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.